So I'm really pleased to introduce the leader of the Labour Party and the next Prime Minister, Jeremy Corbyn.
I filmed it.
Microphones for the many, okay? Thank you very much. Thanks for all being here today, and thank you for your support for Labour in this campaign. This campaign is reaching every single part of the country. I've been to many constituencies already, and I'll be going to many more in the last 2.5 weeks of this campaign. We've got 2.5 weeks to get people registered to vote within the next couple of days, and then to make sure that those votes are cast for Labour on December the 12th. 9 million people, as of yesterday, are still not registered to vote, so please put all the efforts you can into giving people that chance and that choice on December the 12th. If they're not registered, they won't be able to exercise their right to vote, to get rid of a government committed to austerity and the inequality and impoverishment of the people of this country. I've just come from Sheffield this morning, and yesterday, as you know, we had the debate on Question Time, which I actually enjoyed very much indeed. Because I'm very happy to take questions from anybody on anything, anytime, any place. We have nothing to hide. And this morning, I went to a warehouse in Sheffield, alongside Forgemaster Steelworks. That warehouse is owned and run by Amazon. Outside the warehouse, there was a line of white vans. Self-employed white van drivers hoping to get some delivery to do that day from the Amazon warehouse, if the Amazon warehouse had deliveries for them to do. They were queuing up, hoping for a day's work. The people in there, packing the goods and sending them out, were on 0 hours contracts. They spend their days looking at their mobile phone, working out if they're going to get a job or not that day. You'll have read from history and from older people what it was like to work on the docks in Liverpool or London or Hull or Felixstowe or Harwich, when dock workers had to go down to the dock every morning and see if an employer would offer them a day's wages. Building workers who used to queue up in Birmingham or London or many other places every morning, hoping a contractor would give them a day's labour, and then at the end of the day, drop them back to wherever they picked them up from. Maybe get a job the next day, maybe not. Totally insecure, but very hard work. And of course, those that stood up to organise workers on the docks or the building trade to be in the union didn't get work. They were discriminated against by very powerful employers in the sense that the employer controlled the livelihood of those workers. Union action, the labour movement, changed a lot of that and gave people rights at work and some degree of regulation in their workplace. But the growth of 0 hours contracts, which now affect nearly 1 million people across this country, in reality, it might not be as uncomfortable sitting at home looking at your mobile phone as it was queuing up outside waiting for work. But the principle is exactly the same. You're completely disempowered. You're completely in the hands of an employer who might like you or dislike you, may or may not give you work. And you have no control over that situation whatsoever. So I was very proud to be down there this morning outside the Amazon warehouse with our friends in the GMB who are doing their best to organise Amazon workers to join the GMB, to end the contract culture of 0 hours and give them rights at work. Now, I support the GMB and all other unions that are trying to organise people at the workplace, of course I do. But I also think We need government action. We need parliamentary action to change things. That is where the election of a Labour government comes in. Bear in mind that one of the richest people in the world is the chief executive of Amazon, not just a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. And the tax arrangements of Amazon and many other companies are not so much not transparent as and even opaque or even completely hidden from view, are that many of these companies operate in this country, make a lot of money in this country, then transfer their tax liability, as they would call it, to a low tax regime somewhere else. I just make it very, very clear, under a Labour government, there's going to be a few things done differently. One, we will end 0 hours contracts, end of story. There will be no more 0 hours contracts. There will be Secondly, every worker will have full rights at work from day one of their employment, not having to go through these very lengthy probationary periods where they cannot access employment tribunals or anything else. And then, for the companies concerned, yes, we want the work, yes, we want the jobs, yes, we recognise that retail habits have changed and warehouse facilities are a factor in our economy. But we also recognise that companies making money in this country should also pay tax in this country. So we will end the non-dom status. We will tax people at the basis where they're making the money, and the ideas that it's clever to avoid and evade tax and place yourself in a tax haven somewhere else. With John McDonnell as Chancellor, those days are going to be over. We're going to tax This is not, for the avoidance of doubt, anti-business. Because if you're a small business operating on a high street, a small manufacturer, a small artisan workshop or warehouse, you're paying your taxes, others are not. And so we're not going to be raising taxes for the small businesses. We are going to be raising corporation tax for the biggest businesses in order to pay for the social changes that we believe are so necessary in our society. And I'm very proud of our manifesto. I'm very proud of the grey book that goes alongside it. We have a fully costed manifesto which will change the lives of a lot of people in this country. And I'm very proud of the work that's gone into all of that. And I thank all the people for that. But this election is all about, really, the future and hope for young people in our society. There are many things in our manifesto, and I'm really grateful to Young Labour, to Momentum, to all the unions, to everybody else that's made a contribution to our manifesto. And so, whilst brilliant people in our office and our teams wrote the manifesto itself, in reality the ideas came from the real experts. People working in factories, people's care workers, nurses, doctors, teachers, teaching assistants, road sweepers. Everybody made a contribution to our manifesto. It's a people-powered manifesto for a people-powered party in a people-powered campaign to win the election. Cat Smith and I tried to get an amendment through Parliament on the very last day when the election was being called. We were supporting the call for an election because no deal had been taken off the table. We put down an amendment to include votes at 16 in this. We were not successful at doing that, but I'll be proud to lead a Labour government that gives votes at 16. And I'll also be proud to lead a government that establishes a national education service that properly funds our education system. Because it can't be right that children that get preschool nursery facilities get it on the basis of, to some extent, need, to some extent of parental ability to pay, but it is a patchwork across the whole country. All the evidence shows that children that get nursery opportunities do better later on and better later on in life. Let's end the postcode lottery on education achievement and give every young child a real chance, a real future. Real parity of of esteem, real equality of opportunity, whether you undertake vocational education when you go to college and go on to do advanced apprenticeships and get great experience and qualifications that go with it, alongside academic education in universities. A society needs qualified practical engineers just as much as it needs scientists and others within our society. They're both part and parcel of our lives and our society. And the short-sightedness of charging university fees of £9,000 a year, the short-sightedness of ending the nurse bursary, the short-sightedness of ending the support system for people to be at university means that we have 40,000 nurse vacancies within the NHS, we have a massive shortage of doctors, and every company all over the country tells me how difficult it is for them to recruit skilled workers because we're not training enough people, we're not giving young people those opportunities. And so our National Education Service will ensure our schools are properly funded, will ensure that our apprenticeships are effective, good quality, and people are properly paid whilst they're doing it. Because we need those people for the future. We need to give young people that sense of hope and opportunity in the future, rather than being told, if you want to go to uni, you're going to get into debt. If you want to get good healthcare in the future, think about going private. The idea that the public realm is somehow or other permanently in retreat, whilst we are the fifth richest country in the world. Our manifesto, the whole thread through the manifesto, is about changing the inequalities and injustice that exist within our society. And so we will also raise wages, because people need a wage rise. Ever since austerity came in 2010, there's been a wage freeze for most of that time in the public sector. There's been a wage freeze in a lot of the private sector. The spending power of most working class communities is 25% less than it was a decade ago. And so I have no compunction whatsoever in saying we will introduce a £10 an hour living wage for all workers, including young workers, to end that discrimination against young workers. Because this election is an election about hope for the future. And I want to say thank you to all those that have joined the Labour Party, that have come in and